Thank you. The gentlelady yields. Chair now recognizes the chairman of the entire Judiciary Committee, Chairman Jordan, the gentleman from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Director, did you lie or did you guess?
I'm sorry, sir, can you repeat?
When it came to the numbers, you were off. You said that violent crime went down and it actually went up. So I want to know, were you lying to the country or were you just guessing?
So if you're referring to the 2021 data, I want to be clear that the information that we have, our most complete data set from the information we collected, shows that the crime went down. So I think when there is a question about that...
Oh, so you're saying you weren't lying or you weren't guessing, you just got it wrong.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Well, my understanding is you reported...
Hey everyone, if you've been keeping up with the news lately, you know there's been a lot of buzz around a recent exchange in Congress. Jim Jordan, chairman of the Judiciary Committee, grilled the CJIS director over discrepancies in violent crime statistics. It's a heated discussion that's left many questioning if the numbers were manipulated or just a massive oversight. So, let's break it down and find out what really happened. And hey, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the latest updates. Jim Jordan had the CJIS director in front of
down 2.1% for the year that you were reporting on, when in actual fact it went up 4.5%. So you were off by a pretty large margin. I want to know what was the reason for you being off and having to adjust that figure and say, no, we said it. I think you even said in the press release it was a historic decline, when in actual fact it had increased. So I want to know again, what was the reason for you getting it wrong? Guessing, lying, or you just screwed up?
So I want to be clear that the report that we issued in 2022 that showed the decline from 21 to 22 is in fact true and accurate. What is being misinterpreted right now is that our automation numbers that are showing in the system now do not show that manually sourced data. The team really wanted to make sure they got it right. So we only had 65% of the law enforcement agency population coverage when we got the 2021 numbers.
Jordan had the CJIS director in front of the Judiciary Committee to discuss recent reports on violent crime. The director claimed violent crime had decreased by 2.1% in 2021. But Jordan pointed out other sources showed a 4.5% increase in violent crime during the same period. So, what's going on here? Was it an honest mistake, or something more deliberate? Jim Jordan repeatedly asked why their data was off by such a large margin. The director insisted their report was accurate based on the information they had. The director claimed they based their data on 78% coverage of law enforcement agencies, but that still left out a large portion of the country. So was the crime rate truly going down? Or was this just a case of incomplete data? The director stood by their
question. Did it go up or down?
It went down, according to the data set that we have.
And then what was the number you reported that went up? What was that number?
We did not report a number that went up.
So the footnote that said it increased 4.5%, that's wrong? Something's got to be wrong, because on one hand you say it went up, on the other hand previously you said it went down. I mean, which one is right?
I'm not familiar with the footnote that said that crime went up by 4.5%.
4.5% increase in violent crime.
I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look into it.
You're not familiar with that? That's the whole reason you're here.
I'm not familiar with a footnote in our system that says violent crime went up 4.5% in 21 to 22.
You submitted that report. You had it said it went up 4.5%, and you're saying that's not true?
According to the data that we have from 21 to 22, violent crime went down.
Violent crime went down, and then what's the 4.5% that said it went up? Where'd that come from? We're just making it up. The chairman talked about his opening statement. This whole committee, the stuff we put together that we looked at for our preparation for the committee, all says it went up, and you're saying nope, that's not true.
I believe that the 4.5% number came from outside sources that are looking at the data as it sits today. That is incomplete. It only has the 65% of the law enforcement population coverage in 2020.
So you stand by the number you reported back in earlier this fall, the 2.1% decline in violent crime?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I think that would be a surprise to most people. Most people we talk to feel like violent crimes increase. Certainly seems that way, but you're saying it didn't. It didn't at all. So
the director stood by their report, showing a 2.1% decrease in violent crime. They attributed the 4.5% increase to incomplete data, explaining only 65% of agencies had submitted numbers. So, the director's team manually sourced the rest of the data. But still, that left us with the big question: did the crime rate go up or down? Beyond the back and forth over numbers, this is a crucial issue. Accurate crime data is essential for public policy, law enforcement resources, and public safety. If the statistics are off, it could have serious consequences. Jordan's frustration is understandable if the government can't get crime data right. How can the public trust other reports and policies?
At all. So
This is
how
why
did they,
every
how was the interpretation made that said it went up 4.5%?
So if you look at the system as it sits today, if you go into the Crime Data Explorer and look at the 2021 numbers, that is it's an automated system because we're trying to go to monthly releases. So as a result of that, it's an automated system that pulled only what was reported to the FBI in the NIBRS program in 2021, which was only 65% of the population. In order to try to get it right, our team went out and manually sourced data from agencies that did not submit NIBRS, like New York City, Phoenix, Chicago, and used those numbers to supplement the NIBRS reporting in 2021 to be able to have a more true and accurate depiction of crime in the nation.
And what was that number? When you put it all together, what was that number?
For the number of coverage was about 78% of the 78.5%.
No, what, did it go up or down?
It went down.
Went down. Okay, but that's still not all of it. That's 78%.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, but you stand by that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's where we're at. All right. I mean, this has been the whole concern is that on one hand you said one thing, on the other hand we had something reported that people analyzed and said, no, it actually went up. We'd like to get the accurate information. Yeah, I yield to the chairman.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Director, I want to ask a question, because this kind of gets to the nub of it, right? So you said 78%, you're based your data on 78% participation rate ultimately, right? Because whoever didn't participate, you went and looked at whatever the public reporting was, right?
Yes, sir, and then in addition to that, the extra 22%, we used traditional NIBRS estimation methods to look at like.
So let's leave the estimation methods off for a second, because I don't have time to get into that. But I want to ask this question: if I understand what you're saying today, if you looked at the automated responses, that's what these people who are independent researchers look at, and that's where they would have derived a 4.5% growth in the crime rate. Is that fair?
Yes, sir. That's fair.
This is why every detail matters and why transparency in reporting is so important. Whether it's a simple mistake or something more, there's a lot of confusion around the crime numbers. And it's not just about these numbers, it's about accountability. Jim Jordan's questions aren't just about crime stats, they're about making sure we can trust the information coming from our government. What do you think? Was this a simple mistake or was there more to it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all the latest news and analysis.